Actually, I cannot imagine myself working in research without using cognitive linguistics, because I'm a empirical literary researcher, and I'm especially interested in how readers conceptualize characters, but also then how, if they are have conceptualized these characters, how this then translates to real people who are like these characters. And it's, I think, not possible to understand these correlations if you're not using cognitive linguistics.
My interest in cognitive studies originates from a broader interest in narrative, in narratives and stories. As we all know, stories have been crucial for humans since times immemorial, have been crucial for humans to make sense of the world around them, to make sense of their own culture, to make sense of their own past. And you can't really understand any culture, either your own culture or any other, if you don't know their stories. Now, as a classicist, I'm interested in ancient narrative and ancient fiction more specifically. I'm looking at texts from the first few centuries of the Common Era, and later, late antiquity and even the early Middle Ages. And in these texts, it's often less than clear how exactly we need to conceptualize notions of fiction. If you look at modern fiction, you know that you're reading fiction because you found the book on a certain shelf in the bookstore or in the library. Or it says on the cover that it's fiction, or it says so on the blurb. Now, we don't have all that information for late antique, for ancient, for late antique and early medieval texts. So we need to look at the texts themselves and try to make sense of them, try to make sense of what we have. And I think that their narratology and also cognitive narratology and some of the very premises of cognitive narratology help to articulate how ancient readers and late antique readers read these texts.
When I started out as a PhD student, I wanted to ask questions that traditional narratology couldn't answer. Those questions pertained to cognitive processes. I wanted to know, how do people respond to the text? Ancient and modern people. And I started to read up on cognitive poetics and psychonarratology. And also, I wanted to read up on empirical research that showed how modern people reacted to narrative texts. And I found out that some of the traditional narratological answers were contradicted by the empirical research. And when I looked at those results and tried to hypothesize how would ancient readers have reacted to the narratives, I came up with different answers than I had before. Now, I've started to do some empirical work myself. And cognitive blending theory can really explain how school children and other readers respond to narratives. And that's why I think that these approaches are critical to people who teach future priests and future teachers, because those people that they meet in their churches or in school would respond to the narratives, and then they would have to know how they could respond.